All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to After Dark at the Fixed Ops Roundtable. We have a special treat for everybody tonight. We have the principals, the service management team from Principal BMW of San Antonio. I understand one of the largest BMW dealerships in the United States. We've got Isabella Stevens, Katrina Ness with us as well, joining Mohammed, Albert, and Anthony. And Allie, I'm going to let you do the formal introductions. Allie Peters, everybody, who's got the background and a little bit of color on who's here tonight.
Yes, well, welcome everyone to the Fixed Ops Roundtable After Dark. I'm so excited to have our special guest this evening. So, Mohammed, Albert, and Anthony and I worked together for many, many years in my past life, and I love them with my whole heart. We did some incredible work together growing the BMW store, and they have continued that growth. And so happy to have you guys here tonight and to get to be on the roundtable after dark.
All right, so
welcome everyone.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
So starting with Albert, I'm curious, and we'll go to all of you for this question as well, but kind of what got you into the automotive industry to start?
Well, really, it was not intentional whatsoever. I was at a career fair in college, and I was approaching graduation, so I was looking for whatever that next step was. And I thought I was in line to talk to a booth at another company altogether. Turns out I was actually in line with Principal Auto. And so once I made it to the front of the line, I was talking to somebody I didn't think I was going to be talking to, and they invited me to an informational. And they talked about how, they were looking to revolutionize the car industry and really look at the way, we treat customer service in auto. And so those things really resonated with me and stuck with me. And so I gave it a go, and I applied and went through the interview process and was fortunate enough to get hired. And that's how I've gotten here, and they haven't been able to get rid of me yet. So,
wow, that's an amazing story, Albert. You've stayed with the exact same dealer group since the career fair that you met them at?
Correct. Yeah, I did the career fair was in 2016, and I was hired in 2017, and I've been with them ever since.
Wow, so going on 10 years, that's exciting.
Wow, all right.
Amazing.
I see Aaron Calvert in the chat. Sorry.
Hi, Aaron.
Hello, Aaron. Mo, what about you? Do you have a similar story? How did you kind of get into the automotive industry and specifically working at Principal?
So mine's a little different. One of my best friends works here still. This was about 10 years ago. He was a valet, a support staff member, and he told me about the opportunity here. So I came in for an interview. Actually, Allie interviewed me for a valet position. I was a valet for a year. After that year, I was offered the opportunity to become a service advisor. I did that for 3.5 years. And after that, another opportunity arose, and I was able to become a service manager, and been doing that for just about 6 years. It's awesome. I really like the path I've taken. I would have never expected a lot of this. It's a very different world, but I love it. I love doing this job. I love this place. I love who I work with. So that's what keeps me going here.
That's awesome. Anthony, what about yourself?
Yeah, so mine's that typical story. You know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. So I was in hospitality, fine dining restaurants for about 10 years prior to coming to this industry. A good friend of mine came to me and said, hey, I know somebody who just relocated from Dallas. They're looking for people who know customer service, and I think you should talk to them. And I was like, okay, well, what industry? What am I getting into? And she's like, well, it's the automotive industry. And I looked at her and I said, okay, I can't fix my own car, so I don't know what I could bring to them. But came in and spoke to the general manager. I was at Volvo at the time, and the general manager was there, and he's actually here now. And he basically told me the exact same kind of story that Albert said is, hey, we're looking to be the Ritz-Carlton of automotive dealerships. We're looking to raise a bar in how we handle and take care of guests. We want to make sure that we hire the best of the best. And, you almost want it to be an overnight change and success. And here I am 11 years later, and we are every day we're one step closer to that goal and to that dream, and that's what we keep going. seeing other people grow and learn and seeing all the great compliments from other guests.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And we talk a lot about how managers will recruit from the service industry, whether that's fine dining or hospitality, hotels, and stuff like that, because they know how to treat and interact with customers. So that's so cool that, you know, you came from that side as well. And Ted, you know, we talk about that very often, how sometimes people that come from that background are the best employees. So that's a really cool.
And
Really
something
cool
I always say is your technicians are your chefs, your ASMs are your service team, so it aligns very well. You're just selling parts instead of food.
Yeah. Mhm.
Jim Sabino, good evening in the chat. Jim Sabino is one of the mobile service leaders in the country. He is in New Jersey. He's the fixed ops director at the All American Ford Automotive Group. And I remember just a couple years ago when Jim started out with one mobile service van. We were talking about mobile in the green room, Jim, and these gentlemen are doing quite a bit now in mobile as well as a BMW dealership. And Jim, I believe now is on his 16th mobile van. It gets addictive from what I understand. And I also understand the CSI is absolutely through the roof. And Jim can confirm that from customers. They love the experience of the convenience of having a technician come to their home and do the work in the driveway, or for a commercial, you know, to do it in the parking lot. And they get to meet and know the technician. So it's a whole new world. And it's amazing, everybody, how this industry is changing and continuing to. I mentioned I have a BMW when I go in. Now, you know, they used to do just to walk around the old way. Now I get the video MPI. I'm sure you're doing that as well. And tell us about some of these things. How is that going? How's the technology? How are these video MPIs working out? Tell us about mobile service if you don't mind.
Yeah, I'll take this one. And I think it aligns with everything that we do within our shop is the expectation from our guests is immediate and transparent. So the videos, whether it's in the field at a guest house or in the actual shop, it helps kind of cut down all those barriers of what are they really doing back there? Are they really looking at anything? And does it really make sense? And it helps really build value when we're talking to the guests about it, when we can say, well, did you see at minute this, they were pointing at this is what we're looking at, to help them understand, because we have to understand it doesn't matter how smart a guest is. They could be the best surgeon in the world. If they've never worked on a car, they don't understand how intricate the engine is, right? So I think that having those, whether it's out in the field, again, mobile, or in the shop, having those videos helps really build that value and create that bond with our guests.
Yeah. I like that a lot. I like that. It's also revolutionizing the industry. Remember how we used to have to make a phone call and wait for the customer to call us back and take the car off the lift? Customer now, we get an answer pretty quick in most cases, right? And what's your experience? How do customers feel about all these new things?
Well, I think what they've come is to expect it, right? So when we first started doing these videos and when we first started doing these conveniences, it was kind of a luxury for some of these guests. And now it's become the bare minimum, right? So we have guests that are coming in now saying, hey, where's my video? Why didn't I receive it? And sometimes, whether it's a technical difficulty or whatnot, we're seeing that they didn't receive it, but maybe we recorded it. And so we're having to send it to them another way. But they've come to expect these luxuries, and it's become the bare minimum and the basic standard for how we need to operate with these guests.
I see Brad Pascal from Dynatron is in the chat. He may also chime on this, but are you also seeing that customers share these videos as well? Because we're seeing that not only do they, because I know you could see the stats on it, if it got opened, if it got watched, but we're also seeing Mark Mickens, another great mobile retailer. Good evening, Mark. Customers share these videos as well. I don't know if you're seeing that as well.
Of course. And we see them referencing them a lot. So when a customer has a concern or they have a question about something, they'll bring up their video. They'll show the video to see and make sure that we're on the same page. So they're watching them, they're referencing them, and they're definitely expecting them.
Yeah.
Mark, we're also talking about mobile service, and I mentioned Mark Mickens. Mark is a former Mercedes dealer and a former Ford dealer as well. But Mark, one of the biggest in Mercedes on mobile service and helped get them into mobile service a couple of years back and has made some great strides. And also the high school football coach in my town, the winning high school football coach for the last 40 years. Amazing. I'll be quiet now. Go ahead, guys. Sorry.
No, I think that's honestly just so great. I know that when I've had car problems, it's very annoying, to take your car into a technician for months on end. But those videos, they really give me a peace of mind. I know that they're actually working on my car and somebody much smarter is there to explain to me what's wrong with my car. And it really just makes me feel better. And I think that's great, especially when you guys are dealing with people on some of their worst days. Nobody likes to have their car out of commission for a couple weeks. So my biggest question is, what does a great leader look like to you guys on the service drive? When you're picking out these technicians, when you're picking out these advisors, who do you want leading the team, and what kind of skills do they have and bring to the table?
Yeah, I guess for this one, what we really look for here, it is a big operation. Unfortunately, we like to be in as much as we can, but it's such a big operation, we can't touch every single thing, right? So we want, not only do we want us to be leaders, but we want the advisors to be leaders. We want the technicians to be leaders. So that's what we look for. We look for people that are going to take initiative. If there's an issue, they're not just going to stop. It's not a blockade, it's an obstacle. They're going to get over it. They're going to hurdle it. They're going to find a way to get around it. So that's really, really what we focus on here. We have a great staff that does that. And obviously that comes over time. There's a lot of training involved with that, a lot of hard times that goes into that. But that is, I believe, what we look for here, especially given the size of us.
Yeah. And speaking of size, Mo, tell us how many service advisors you have and how many people are on your team, because we were talking about it earlier and we were all blown away.
So we have 22 advisors. We have right at 60 technicians. We have 4 floors worth of bays. I think we have right around 117 bays, if I'm not mistaken, for the service department. And like we were talking about earlier, we still have the basement, which is our collision center. And that's where all the collision work gets done. So it's right under service. So it's all in one big shop.
Wow. There's a lot going on under you guys. So management skills have to be top tier.
Yeah.
Mo, how do you manage that? You said 4 levels. How do you, I'm just thinking about that logistically. How do you manage all that?
Through strong leadership. That's how you manage it. Yeah. You have to have people that you can rely on. We have a great team. We have a great shop foreman team that we rely on heavily for the shop. We also have group leaders as well. We rely on them because you're right. It is a big shop, and logistically, just the parking lot, getting to the car wash, going to the bottom lot, all those things, they do take the additional time that you wouldn't expect at a smaller store. So you're absolutely right. That's a part of it that I think gets forgotten about a lot.
And I think a big part is hiring the right people, is giving them the autonomy to lead. Right?
Yeah.
Because if you take away the autonomy, then you have to micromanage. And that's what we try not to do. We understand they're going to make a mistake. We understand that there are going to be growing pains. We've all made them ourselves. If you could understand that and you could really address it with empathy, people stay around and people aren't afraid to make the right decision. So if we have people who don't want to do that, our lives become a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
I love that. Empowering people to lead. I love that. That's amazing.
Correct.
Allie, I had no idea what a huge operation this was. You didn't tell us the full story, Allie. This is great.
Well, we gotta leave more for later, right? Never get it all out on the table at first. Yeah, it was a big deal. It still is a big deal, and it's been so fun. So my store is just across the highway from them. So when I'm missing them, I can just go on the top of the parking garage and look across, and I can see and wave and say hi from afar. But yeah, it's huge. It's massive. It's like physically massive. The space, people really genuinely don't understand it. And to think about, because we moved into that building in 2018, and to think about all the changes we made in that initial, first few years when I was there, and then just to see and hear all of the additional changes you guys have made is just, it never stops. You feel like you perfected, and then there's the opportunity, okay, go break it again and make it better. And it's also really refreshing in this business. How often have you seen a 3 management team with a fixed ops director who've been together for 6, 7, 8, 10 years and been able to put all the work in together and grow that? It's so rare and it's so special. And I'm so proud of them.
I think
Tell us about, if you don't mind, if you get a chance, tell us about your technicians, what age they range, and do you grow your own? And because obviously that's a big discussion these days in the industry. So.
Yeah, we've started a kind of a maintenance team and a fast lane team, if you will, where we started to grow our own technicians to ultimately go into mainline work. And so with that, we really like developing our own people. So we hire the experienced techs, but then we also hire the inexperienced, and just making sure that we have the right people in place to get the job done.
You see, Jim's got a question here in the chat. How many cars a day?
Yeah, so we average right around 130. We would like to get to right about 155 within the next 6 months.
Wow. Okay.
It's what I always tell people, it's the size of a Toyota operation, but it's BMW. So we have to make it feel small when it's this big.
Yeah. I love that. That's so strong. A lot going on. Yeah, growing technicians, obviously a big focus in the industry right now. We're hearing that, of course, you hear that there's not enough technicians. I think I saw the CEO of Ford Motor Company a couple weeks ago was all over the news on that. But from what I gather, it's really maybe not enough technician development programs, right? To develop techs and to grow them and to keep them and to, find the techs that we have on the show, tell us money's important, but there's a lot more. And it seems like the culture at your dealership is pretty special. If you want to elaborate on that.
Yeah, and I'll also piggyback on that and then go into the culture aspect. Is about a year ago we talked to the shop director and we basically told him, don't stop talking to technicians. I was like, we can never have enough. If we want the best of the best, we're not gonna stop just because we hit a number. So I will tell you, we have technician interviews every single week. They're out there, they want to work, and they want somewhere that's going to treat them right. I think that a couple of things that we do well is most people already have it, but is having the air conditioned shop, which is a basic now, but people still can't find them. Locker rooms for them, female and male soda machines for them, things like that. We do a huge technician appreciation once a year where we spend thousands of dollars just to tell them how much we love them and how much we want them there. Wow. And the gifts that we give away is off of a Christmas list that they give us, right? So the 3 of us, we get behind a grill, we grill steaks, we make mushrooms, we do all that fun stuff. Everybody eats, drinks, has a good time. And it's about a 3 to 4 hour event. When everybody leaves, everybody's smiling, and the next day you can't hear enough graciousness from them. I mean, they're so thankful for it, which is a good thing when they work that hard.
Katrina, I'm thinking back to last July when you and I were in Texas, we were in Houston together, and we were in that dealership doing a pop-up event for the Fixed Ops Roundtable. And boy, I know I sure would have appreciated air conditioning in that shop that day. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, especially in Texas, I think
in July.
yeah, exactly. And we weren't even on our hands and knees working on a car, and there's people that are trying to do their jobs and should expect that as the bare minimum, really. But you 3 are such strong leaders and you have such a powerful and large team under you. And I'm curious, with your time and your experience at Principal, what are some stories that you're proud of, whether that's about yourself and your growth in the company or about empowering and leading other people under you?
So something I'm really proud of, we hired a new advisor, I would say 1.5 years, 2 years ago, new to the industry. He was managing at a Walmart. We interviewed him, liked him. Albert actually knows him very well, one of his good friends. He got off to a good start. He understood. He has a good work ethic. He got off to a really strong start. And the past year in 2025, he has really, really shown what he's capable of. I mean, he really embodies the leadership aspect and the aspect of, it's like I said earlier, they're just obstacles. He finds a way around them. He finds a way to get his job done. He does it with, honestly, sometimes it looks like minimal effort because he tries to be as efficient as he can. That was a huge win for me for 2025, for all of us, to see him grow that last year and see, what he can be. And again, that's his first full year, so we're really excited to see where he goes. And I'm bringing this up because he's on my team. So these 22 advisors we have, they are split by us three. We have our areas of responsibility. I mean, we manage everybody, but he is one of mine specifically, and it's just really great to see, someone embody what a dealership can do for you, what the service department can do for you if you just really focus on your leadership.
Yeah, you put him in a position and you got to see him soar. There's nothing more accomplishing than that, truly. Yeah. Albert, what about yourself?
Yeah, so I think back to the development and the growth that we've had just since I started in 2017.
Okay.
So Ali mentioned a little bit earlier that we moved into this building in 2018, making us the largest BMW dealership in the country. And so when I look back on it and I started, I think we all know our customer satisfaction was not anywhere near where it needed to be. We had outgrown that space. We had a lot of challenges, and there were a lot of things working against us. However, we knew that at that point we could make excuses and then kind of justify what was happening. But once we started and we got into this building, we knew that we were going to have to step up our game because there were no more excuses, right? We had all the facilities, we had all the resources, everything was in place to make sure that we were successful. And so we had to rise to that level, and we had to meet it. And boy, have we. I mean, we've really stepped up our game in customer satisfaction, and we've gone to top 10% in the nation in BMW customer satisfaction scores. So looking back to where we were, it's night and day. And so being able to meet that standard is something that I'm really proud of, because it's not just with me in management. It's been since I was an advisor, so I've seen the growth go through leadership, and just being able to be a part of that journey has been really, really special.
Yeah. Albert, what are some key best practices that you think have helped, really increase your CSI scores?
Well, communication is going to be one of the biggest ones, and making it easier for us to communicate with our guests. I was here when we implemented My Karma onto the service drive, and it's a great communication tool for our guests. And so being able to use that to our advantage, to text our guests, to have conversations with our guests, and all the calls are recorded, so we can reference those calls when it comes to that. So being able to be transparent with our guests is something that they really value, and being able to have those honest conversations. So utilizing My Karma, following up with each customers after their service. So once their service is done, we're following up with them days later to make sure that everything is okay on their vehicle, and making sure that they don't have any lingering issues that maybe we would need to readdress. Sorry, my lights just came off.
That's all right. Hey, by the way, Mark Harmer's has great tools. I mean,
It absolutely
we have
is.
them
I
on the
think it
Fixed
changed
Ops
our
Roundtable. That's an amazing platform, and it's really, all the things they do now with the payments and all the stuff that's built in. It's very impressive.
It's great.
It is. Anthony, what about yourself? Do you have any true success stories or best practices that you've seen over the past years of experience while you've been at the dealership?
Yeah, so I'll go into best practices first. I want to piggyback on communication. I think that, Ted, we kind of talked about it before we got on, is there's a level of expectation that's changed since those of us that have started in the car industry before these tools were in line. When we're using just our desk phone, guests understood that they may not hear from us until Monday. As right now, people require immediate responses. Yeah. So I think that communications become a lot more difficult, and it's also, as a leadership team, it's been difficult to realize that sometimes, because we're saying, okay, why aren't you contacting that guest immediately? And it's been 20 minutes, where when we first started, it could be an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, who knows, just based off of how communication was then. So that's one thing. Secondly, best practice, and we had this conversation earlier, is you have steps of service, and you could either muddy it with as many details as possible, telling your service team what to do, when to do, how to do it, what to say, or you could go to your key points and your non-negotiables, which are these are the key points that we want you to talk to every guest about. How you get there is up to you, but these are what we want to say. So we talked about UVI earlier, and you can have UVI in your service drive, and it's cool, and it sends pictures to your guests. But if your team's not talking about it, it's not really doing much
Right.
to train and teach it and educate the guests, right? So those are some best practices. Just keep stuff in front of your teams and help them learn. When it comes to a win, what I love is seeing people grow. So
Yeah.
moving people from the service drive as valets to an ASM position, or from the call center to an ASM position, or seeing our top performers that make so much moving into a director position. As much as you hate to lose their production, seeing them grow into those is the most special part of what we do. And I think that that's how you really grow your company and grow your team.
Yeah.
Amen. I love it.
Amen.
I think 2026 is going to really be the year of fixed operations. All these tools you're talking about, you're so right, Anthony, that, we didn't have these years ago, not too long ago, right, in the past. And now look how it has sped everything up. It's made everything faster. The tech response is faster. The tech's communicating to the customer's getting back to us. The customer expects it. Wow.
Yeah.
And there's no telling where this is going to go. I mean, right now, we're looking at dealerships and seeing all the the AI, all the focus is coming into fixed ops now to make this more efficient, and it's pretty amazing where this is going. So
We start to see it even in our DMS now. When we have a recommendation for a guest, it'll populate an AI kind of description of what that component is, or how to better present it to a guest. So I mean, it's coming in all different directions, this AI.
wow,
That's incredible.
it's not just Chat GPT, that it's in our everyday lives.
Everywhere.
It's embedded in stuff that we're doing, and it's amazing. And it's got to have a big lift, because these are things the customer needs. These are needed services. It's convenient. They can take care of it now. Okay. Easy. Okay. And again, you're the factory authorized dealer. You got the genuine parts. I would imagine you have an amazing amount of time you spend on technician training. And that's, I think, one of the big advantages that you have over the independents as well.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, Allie, there's a lot here.
Yes. Thank you guys for coming. I'm so happy to have all of you here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it.
So, Allie, everybody on this panel tonight, with the exception of Isabella and Katrina, everybody worked with you, not just with you, but for you as well.
Technically, at one point, yes. Yeah. When I was when I left BMW, I was the service director. And so these are my 3 service managers. And it was the best of the best. I've never had better. So they are. And just even listening to you guys talk tonight, it makes me so proud, because I can hear and see the growth that's happened in the time that I've been away. And I'm just incredibly proud of all 3 of you guys.
And I would imagine, just real quick, if you don't mind, you must have a very impressive parts operation too, because you can't sell those hours without parts. And I would imagine that's a big part of the equation as well.
Absolutely. Each of our floors is equipped with a parts runner and a parts associate that's actually fulfilling those orders. So there's a whole separate parts department on each floor. So it's really helpful when you're running an operation this big.
So do you have a runner that's out in the shop and brings, parts out to the tech? How does that work?
Yeah, so we do have a runner. Their main goal is to get the parts to the floor.
Okay.
If there is downtime, they do run it to the technicians, but the goal is to get it to the floor, because if it's on the floor, it's very easy to get from the service bay.
The robots are coming. The robots are going to
Yeah, they're on their way.
That's next. We're already seeing that. Okay.
Yeah.
Katrina, you saw the parts robot when we were in Dallas together as well.
Yep, I definitely did. And I think that there is a lot more to come and a lot to look forward to at NADA this coming year of 2026. So I'm excited to see all the robots, new technologies, and AI that will be presented there.
We will be at NADA. It's coming up first week of February. We have a big venue in the West Hall, so we hope to see everybody there as well. In the meantime, Katrina, what's coming up? Because I know you've been busy with this intern project. You want to tell us a little bit about that and what we have to look forward to with that?
Absolutely. Episode number 3 is releasing tomorrow, 2 p.m. Eastern. We will be streaming it live. This is the intern where we have 10 Northwood students competing in different challenges to see who is the top Northwood student and ultimately the winner. So episode 3 will be released tomorrow. So make sure you tune into that. It is very engaging and fun and interesting. And you get to see all the young talent that is not only coming out of Northwood, but also entering our industry. So make sure you tune into that. It's awesome.
And Katrina, are they about to work their way into the dealership now? I think that's coming up as well.
Yep, soon to be. Not this episode, but the following episode. We filmed it in the Suburban Collection down in Troy, Michigan with Lithia. So that was really exciting. So we're heading from Northwood to dealership to everywhere in between, and a lot to come. So super exciting.
Yeah, that is exciting. Okay, super stuff. And everybody, if you're not aware of it as well, here's Robert Miggs. Robert at Carter Myers Automotive out in Virginia. Thank you so much for all you do. Happy New Year to you in the industry. And our big 4-day event also is coming up. It's right around the corner, Isabella. I know you've been telling us a lot about this for a couple of weeks.
Yes, Rock Revolution, January 26th through the 29th. We have over 175 pro speakers and panelists joining us. It's a fully virtual event, so you guys can tune in from your house, the office, or maybe even the service lane if you guys are still late working. But it's a great event. There's really no reason not to sign up. So just make sure that you sign up for your complimentary ticket right now. You can even use that QR code that's nicely on the screen.
Isabella, I think we're going to, Allie, rerun this segment during the event. I see that coming already. So.
Yay!
Yeah.
That would be great. Boys, y'all are on the Big Stops Roundtable.
Right.
Anthony, Albert, Mo, thank you so much for being here with us today. Great stuff.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, guys.
All right. So, Katrina, what's next? We're back on Monday, right?
Yep, back on Monday. I'll be back up to school at that point. Winter break is over, and a lot of hard work coming our way. So it's exciting. The new year.
Right. Everybody, thanks for being here today. Appreciate
Thank you.
Great job. Fantastic.
You guys.